Hello, parents and families of the newest class of Villanovans. I'm excited to be here with you today. Before I introduce myself and talk more about the presentation, I wanted to share a little bit about what you're seeing on your screen here. These pictures are some of our most recent graduates who shared with us where they have gone after graduation in terms of their career. We share many of these stories on our social media via this hashtag, NovaGoing. So I encourage you to follow us to see more stories of our graduates and their career journeys after graduation for Villanova. This is a social media campaign that we are really proud of, and every graduate featured shares their personal story with us. It's a personal favorite of mine. I love seeing where our graduates go after Villanova. Feel free to check that out and learn more about their majors and how it relates to their outcomes. Again, please follow us on your social media of choice at VU Career Center on Instagram and Twitter, and Villanova Career Center on Facebook. I'm really excited to talk to you more about this topic of majors, careers, and outcomes today. First, I'd like to give you a picture of me. Here I am, the person whose voice you're hearing. My name is Maggie Songer, and I am the Executive Director of Employer and Career Connections in the Career Center at Villanova. I have the pleasure of leading both our employer relations team and our career development team. I'll talk a little more about them later and the work that they do with students and employers. It's an honor and privilege to be here today with you. I've been at Villanova for over 15 years, and it feels quite like home. So I'd like to welcome you to the Villanova family and welcome your student to the Villanova family today. So as we talk about the connections between majors, careers, and outcomes, I wanted to start off by sharing with you a little bit about the relationship between majors and careers and why choosing a major matters, but it is not your complete destiny. We hear many times about students being worried about the choice of major and how it will impact the rest of their whole life. And certainly the choice of major is an important one, which we will talk about today, but it doesn't define everything. So I want to talk about the importance of it, but also depressurize that decision for students so they can make the best one possible with as little stress as possible. So, as I mentioned, choosing a major is certainly important for many reasons. Hopefully, it's a course of study that students really, really enjoy and love for the sake of learning the discipline itself. From the perspective of their careers and types of folks looking at their choice of major in their next destination, whether that be employment or continued study and graduate program or other things. For those folks looking at students, it is often a signal of interest. This choice is something that they are assuming the student is interested in. So it's an important part of the portrait for the job or graduate school application. And in some cases, it can certainly be a requirement. There are some fields where a certain course of study is necessary for employment in that field. But most important, it is to enjoy what you study. And that usually leads to also being good at it. And the reason it is important to enjoy it and be good at it is, of course, intrinsic with the student themselves, to have a good time learning what they are learning and really being fascinated with it, because it will take commitment to see it through, and interest will help with that commitment greatly. Interest also leads to success in many cases, and success in your major will certainly impact your GPA, which is an important measure for the external world to understand more about you. Employers and graduate schools take your GPA as a reading of your success. It's one signal of success. So it's an important one, and thus enjoying your course of study, leading to a stronger GPA, and certainly help impact your outcomes. So many reasons, of course, why choosing a major is important for students. But it's not everything. There was a study done in 2020, and these results have been replicated in many other ways in other studies, but I think this is such a big one. It was conducted by the Association of American Colleges and Universities, and they studied close to 500 employers and found that employers ranked critical thinking, problem solving, and written communication as among the most important skills that college graduates should be able to demonstrate. These skills you can gain in many types of disciplines and many experiences that can be connected to your major and things that might not be connected to your choice of study. So employers of all shape and sizes and all different types of industries are looking at the skills you gain more than your major. And we continue to see this in the work that we do with employers who recruit at Villanova. They are increasingly and continue to be increasingly interested in what the skills are that students have and how those pertain to the types of opportunities that are out there with organizations. Again, all different types of industries across the country, all sizes of employers are looking at that most often. So the major is a signal of interest to them, but there is also much more beyond that that they have curiosity about. So the things that we hope that students see and can do is that we try to help them understand that it might be beneficial for them to declare a mission beyond their major. So as they have made that choice of major, which might change many times, which might shift in their mind in terms of importance, and this happens quite often at Villanova. So there is nothing to be worried about that, or even not knowing what it is right now. There's nothing to be worried about that. Think about the mission that is beyond that as well, because there are so many things that add to the student's story. The extracurricular activities that they get involved in, and the leadership experiences that they take on within them. If they are involved in athletics, if they are involved in service and civic engagement, if they complete an internship or a significant research project, these add many more dimensions to the story for students. So these things are all beyond their academic major. Also think about this choice of major as a choice in a lifelong series of choices of their career decision-making. Because new careers grow out of economic and technological demands all the time. And these things are much more than one choice of major that might help someone be prepared for. So these majors and these courses of study help students develop these foundational skills that will help them navigate lifelong decision-making in careers. And the other piece to mention here is that it's really important to develop strong skills in your career, in job searching, and thinking about how to make connections to what you were learning to your career. Things like writing a resume, conducting interviews, understanding how to build relationships with others and networking. All of these things also make a difference and are not connected to just one course of study and major. So there are just so many things that add to the student's story to help them connect their major to what they're thinking about doing and helping them understand that this choice is just one of many that they will get to make to help them shape their journey during Villanova and afterward. So to illustrate this point, I want to talk a little bit about career outcomes at Villanova to give you some context to the relationship of majors to careers as examples of success, some of which you just saw some stories of the students sharing in that Nova Going campaign, but there is much more detail I can give you here, and you can explore yourself on our website. Many of you may have seen a version of this during your time exploring Villanova with your student. Or if you are just new to it now, I'm happy to introduce you to that the Career Center conducts a survey every year of our graduates and where they go after graduation within 6 months to understand what the career outcomes of our students are. These numbers are reflective of the class of 2021 and where they landed post-graduation. We are inordinately proud of our class of 2021 who graduated during a global pandemic, that 97.8% of them had a successful destination within 6 months of graduation. It's remarkable. So we know the stories of our students and where they go because we collect this information. And I'm excited to tie our outcomes to the previous slide when I talked about how employment can be about more than just a major. We're going to play a little game called Guess the Major to think about how majors connect to careers, just in the Villanova context. So what I'm showing you here is 7 companies that hired from our class of 2021 on the left side, and the majors of the students who were hired on the right side. Which major do you think these folks hired from the class of 2021? Some of these companies hired many students of varying majors. Think of this as just a sampling. Okay, let's get started. You may be surprised. Let's start with Boston Consulting Group. It's known as BCG. Who did they hire? BCG hired a marketing major from the class of 2021. Next, we have the Brooklyn Nets. They hired a mathematics major. All of that data needed to be analyzed. Now we have the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. No surprise here, they hired a biology major and many, many nursing majors as well. Next, we have Citi. They hired a mechanical engineering student. L3Harris Technologies, which is a defense company, hired an economics student. L'Oreal hired a finance major. And SAP America, which is a global technology company, hired an English major. So I hope this helps with debunking the idea that banking is only for finance students, hospitals for nursing students, and technology for engineering and computer science students. Many of our top employers value Villanova's education across all majors and look for those top skills mentioned earlier to fit the recruitment needs. Did I pique your curiosity? Do you want to learn more? You can explore all of our outcomes of our graduates on this website, outcomes.villanova.edu. You are seeing a screenshot of it here on your screen. You can look at the last 3 years of outcomes information, and you can sort by all of our academic programs. You can look up by college. You can explore the individual outcomes of each of our graduates. So you can understand more about this picture and see each of those outcomes in more depth, even than I have given you here in this presentation. But we want for all of our students and families of students to understand that the incredible destinies of our students, the paths that our students pursue, because it's quite an impressive array of organizations that our students go to work for, or institutions that our students continue to study at. And for students that are trying to make sense of what this major might lead me to, or how might this connect to what I'm thinking about, this website and this information can be remarkably helpful. So we encourage you to explore it. And if your student feels stuck about their choice, we encourage you to explore it with your student or have them explore it by themselves. So the last thing I'd like to leave you with is a little bit more about career and professional development at Villanova and just who we are and how we work. So as you are navigating this experience or your student is navigating this experience, you can certainly understand more about these teams and resources and even help point your student to them as well. So to start off, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about the teams and resources that exist. The first one I'll mention is the Villanova University Career Center. It is the university-wide office that serves all students, alumni, and employers who hire here at the university. The Career Center is a staff of 21 folks who work for everyone at the institution. There are teams that help students explore choices of major and career and help them practice things like writing resumes and interviews and building those fundamental job search skills that are so critical to every kind of career path you might choose. That is our career development team that I spoke about at the beginning of the presentation, who I manage. There is also a team that helps students when they know specifically what type of industry they want to pursue and opportunities that they are interested in. That is building relationships and connections with employers and alumni in those industries and meets with students to make those connections happen. This is the industry advisors on the employer relations team that I also manage. Among many of the other things that happen in the Career Center These are two that I wanted to point out to you so you understand what can happen when students connect with someone in the Career Center and what are the resources the Career Center provides. Within each of the schools and colleges, there are professional development teams and programs that exist to connect what students are learning in their curriculum to career exploration and career learning. So within the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, there is the ASPD program, or Arts and Sciences Professional Development is what it stands for. There are courses that students can take to help them explore careers and career paths. There are also opportunities for students to attend programs that help students connect their liberal arts and sciences education to the wide variety of career outcomes that might come from the field of study, and helping them understand through the lens of alumni, what have folks done? What have they achieved? And how their liberal arts and sciences education prepared them to do what they do. So a lot of opportunities for liberal arts and sciences students to connect to outcomes, employers, and alumni. Within our School of Business, there is the Backpack to Briefcase program. It is a multi-year curriculum of professional development and career development for students, including a class that each sophomore takes called Backpack to Briefcase, as well as other career learning experiences and networking experiences that are built into the learning journey for students in the School of Business. In the College of Engineering, there is the Career Compass program. It is also a multi-year curriculum for students to connect what they are learning in their engineering courses to possible career paths, and helping them sharpen not only their technical skills, but also their communication skills, critical thinking skills, their understanding of leadership and ethics as it pertains to engineering and engineering careers. And finally, in the College of Nursing, there is the LEAD program. LEAD stands for Learn, Engage, Advance, and Develop. And this program helps our nursing students connect their nursing degree experience to the types of alumni outcomes and employer opportunities that exist for our nurses, helping them network, learn about networking, learn about resume writing, learn about all of the ways their nursing education experience applies to the things that they might do after graduation. So in each of these colleges, there are sophisticated programs and resources that exist, all connecting to the Career Center. So there is a wide network of support for students that is built right in to what they study at Villanova. Okay, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention two other offices and teams that support Villanova students and wonderful opportunities. First is the Center for Research and Fellowships, or CURF as it's known, and CURF serves all Villanova students and alumni, particularly focusing on helping students to connect to research opportunities and how they connect to conduct research with our amazing faculty, as well as research opportunities that may exist outside of Villanova, and helping students also apply for and win nationally competitive scholarships and fellowships. Our Center for Research and Fellowships is remarkably successful in preparing our students, and our students are incredibly prepared via the work our center does. So I strongly recommend each student explore the resources of research and fellowships, because there are so many ways that everyone's educational experience can connect to the work that they do. And secondly is our Health Professions Advising Team that serves all Villanova students and alumni who are pursuing careers in the health professions. So this is both from the lens of helping them understand their curriculum requirements needed to succeed and get into additional learning opportunities and degrees that are required for health professions, as well as connecting to networks of admissions professionals and medical schools and job shadowing with folks who work in the medical professions. And I should also clarify that this is for students who are interested in, of course, medical school, but also physician assistant programs, occupational health programs, dental school, and many more. So this is the broad range of health professions that they connect students to. And here's just a very brief sample of some of the things that we all do. Of course, all of us are engaged in versions of career and graduate school advising, starting at what I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about, how do I want to explore this and tackle this notion of planning for what my future might be, all the way to, I know exactly what I want to do, and can someone help me make some connections or refine my materials for an application to be successful? No matter where a student is, all of us are here to help students make sense of what the next step might be for them. There's no stigma for us in terms of helping students career options and career learning. It doesn't matter where they are, what they know or don't know. All of us have an open door and are here every day to help students make those connections. The second thing that I'll mention we do is recorded practice interviews and virtual interviews. Certainly, virtual interviews are incredibly important, and more important now more than ever. Many organizations took to virtual interviewing prior to the pandemic, and certainly that took off a lot during the pandemic and will continue after. So all of those things we help students do, all of them. Students can say that I'm very interested in interviewing with a specific type of opportunity, and we will help students prepare exactly for that opportunity. This is a wonderful resource that is provided. So when they are going to that interview, it is not the first time they're having that conversation. There is also job and internship listings in our system called Handshake. Handshake is the career management system for Villanova. And when employers and alumni say, I really want to hire a Villanovan for this opportunity, any kind of opportunity, we make sure that opportunity is posted in Handshake for all students to see. As of today, all of your students have access to Handshake and can begin logging in to look at those opportunities. We have tens of thousands of jobs and internships posted in Handshake each year. It's our #1 resource for students across all types of opportunities they may want to pursue. We strongly recommend that they check out Handshake to see what's available. We also conduct and host career fairs and networking events for students, again, across all the different types of industries, all types of opportunities. Larger events, smaller events, some that will be virtual and some that will be in person, so we can connect students to a variety of opportunities that exist across the country. So please strongly encourage students to look out for that as well. And we advertise many of these services and more in newsletters that go out to students. This banner that you're seeing at the bottom here, this job postings for recent grads, is just a sampling of one of the newsletters that we do for students and alumni to help them understand what resources exist and opportunities that have been posted that might be relevant and interesting to them. We always encourage students to keep an eye out for their email because newsletters come out to them based on their interest quite a bit. There are 2 frequent questions I get from parents and families at presentations like this, so I thought I'd address them now, and maybe this will help you understand how you can help your student. This is the first question I get in some form or shape, and I think the biggest thing I would suggest, and I always talk about with parents and families, is to help students understand what success looks like. Oftentimes, when we are talking to students, we see them think that success looks like the images on the left, which is just a straight line, diagonally up. Just that I'm going to take this step, and then this step, and then this step, and then this step, and I'm going to be successful. And it's going to be this perfect line upward for me. And what success really looks like is actually much more the graphic on the right, which is the bunch of twists and turns and ups and downs, and sometimes going backwards. Sometimes not succeeding until you eventually get your way to success. There is a saying I love very much and imbue in what I do and how I talk with folks, is that success is going from failure to failure without ever losing your enthusiasm. So for many of you who I know are successful, you can certainly think about the stumbling blocks along the way that got you to success. And for students, it is really important to know that that is what success looks like, and that is what the journey looks like. They often only see the best in others and only the worst in themselves. So for them to understand that it's okay for them to make mistakes, it's okay for them to not have it right, it's okay for them to not be perfect, it's okay for them to change their mind. Those things really help them take down the pressure of it all, of these decisions that they are making, and then again, have that clarity to make the decisions wisely. So that's a big theme of much of the advice when I'm asked a version of this question about how to help your student. This is a big thing I would like to try to help them to understand, maybe via your own personal stories or the personal stories of others, so they can understand that it's okay to make mistakes. And the second question that we do get asked is how you as parents and families can help Villanova. And this is a wonderful question, of course, and I would always put a plug in for if you are in a position of influence in hiring at your organization or other organizations, please hire for Villanova. I'm happy to take referrals and information from folks about careers we could help you or your organization recruit Villanova students for internships or full-time opportunities. So certainly, don't hesitate to reach out to me or anyone on the Career Center team or other teams I mentioned here. We'd be happy to help you understand how you can recruit Villanova students for opportunities. You know how incredible Villanova students are. You have one yourself. So the more opportunities we can generate for our students, the more opportunities they have to explore at their fingertips. So please don't hesitate to let us know if you're ever in a position to hire. We'd love to help you connect to Villanova for opportunities. So with that, I'll say thank you so much for watching. All of us at Villanova really look forward to meeting your student this year, particularly all of us in the career and professional development teams. We are so excited to meet your student and get to know them. We are grateful for them to be a Villanovan. So go Cats. Have a wonderful day.